we have got 15,000 sales commission-driven salespeople, right, who have been instructed and tasked with the objective of selling Bitcoin into portfolios of Morgan Stanley's private wealth management clients. These guys make money on every amount of Bitcoin that they sell year on year. And so their objective is basically to increase their commissions. And I think that this is the first domino. So I think we're going to see 50,000 salespeople in America, around the world, by the end of this year being greenlit to sell Bitcoin products to their clients. And of course, which ETFs are they going to sell? It's going to be IBIT and FBTC because the lobby is too strong. So this is extremely bullish news. They start selling tomorrow, the 7th of August, and we'll see what type of impact that makes on price. I'm not expecting an immediate impact, but it should be quite remarkable over the next 6 months. Yeah, there's going to be no promotion of self-custody at this moment in time. It's going to be the ETF, the ETF, the ETF, and that's what their clients want. Until a time comes where BlackRock, for example, is self-custodying Bitcoin for people, it's never going to be. And again, is that really self-custody, right? So we're not talking about self-custody here. Bitcoiners that have that mindset where, you know, the only way forward is self-custody have to pull their heads out of their asses right now. Like, this train is leaving the station. It's already left the station. BlackRock's now basically, you know, increasing the speed and velocity at which this train is going. And ETF is the simplest solution for people to get Bitcoin inside their portfolios, and it's the only way that these guys make money. Volatility at which things come is going to get more and more because there's more money being printed and less assets to put them in. Therefore, the volatility is going to go up. And that's what we've seen. We've seen a completely reasonable 15% drop in the market, and this is completely healthy, right? We were steaming forward at a 20%, 25% market return on the NASDAQ for the year after a year of a 20% return. So this is completely healthy for the market to do so. I don't think there's going to be any Fed intervention. I think the Japan trade is an excuse to start stimulating, and I think that's what you're going to see over the next, you know, few days and weeks. You're going to start seeing stimulus come in everywhere. One of the things that I love about Joe Kernan, who is becoming my favorite, like, media Bitcoiner, so to say, you know, is that he said to him, short the position then. And that's been my position for a while, you know, showing like where I grew up and when I started in business and things like that, I would have older men around me telling me very, very clearly, you got to shut the fuck up unless you're willing to put up the money where your mouth is for your opinions. You got to earn your opinions, right? And you know, everyone just has an opinion on Bitcoin. I've said this to people many times, right? People get on stage, people get on YouTube, on Twitter, all this other shit, and they always talk about, oh, I'm in cash right now because my position is cash. Cash is not a position. Cash is a bitch position, and it doesn't mean anything, right? Cash doesn't mean anything. Cash means what you're projecting with cash is I don't know what's going on. Now, I have cash, right? I have a certain amount of cash to take care of the next, say, 2 years. And because I don't know what's happening in the next 2 years. Therefore, I have this amount of cash to make sure that I can get through the next 2 years. That's a cash position. Every one of these morons that has an opinion about Bitcoin on the negative side but does not short it is an absolute moron, in my opinion. Their opinions don't matter. They don't count. Peter Schiff and Nassim Taleb need to get together and publicly demonstrate a short position in Bitcoin. Put your money where your mouth is. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. You know, at the end of the day, Peter Schiff's opinions don't matter. His thoughts don't matter. His own fund has underperformed the S&P 500 since inception. Gold has underperformed. It's an impotent asset at this point. Bitcoin is taking over. The money managers and the capital asset. Peter Schiff is like listening to Peter Schiff is like sitting in front of the biggest wave you've ever seen coming at you. Think you're going to survive because the capital allocators of the world have dictated that Bitcoin is gold 2.0. They've said it, and the moment they said it, there was 17 days worth of consecutive outflows from the GLD ETF. And so look. These people can say whatever they want to say. They can engagement farm whatever they want to farm. At the end of the day, the universe, God, whatever you believe, it will rain down terror on their asses at some point if they have a sinister intention. If they don't have a sinister intention, they'll just be fucked, right? Well, it's going to be one or the other. Yeah, look, everyone likes to say, oh, where's the bull market multiplier? And people can't seem to understand net in the market, right? Everything depends on net. So if you have 10,000 Bitcoin being bought, and 11,000 Bitcoin being sold, you have a net 1,000 sell order in the market, not a 1,000 long order in the market, in which case the price will be driven down at a multiple. And of course, the bull market multiplier works in a very, very acute time period, right? Bank of America, in their research, they say very, very openly, and I've been saying this for a year now, that this multiple was at the very, very peak of the market, right? It's at the very, very peak of the market. I would say the bear market multiplier was about 55. And now it's been slowing down a little bit, right? Because there's more selling going on in the market. And as that selling ends, the multiplier will continue to range upwards. That's how this works. This is not a fixed multiplier. It doesn't stay fixed forever. It is changing second by second. But yes, the multiplier is working, and I predict at the peak of this next market, it will actually be higher than 118. I think that the buyers that are buying Bitcoin now are very, very different to the buyers that we've had in every other cycle. These people do not want to sell, right? You saw that with the BlackRock ETF. Everyone that's been going on about, oh, will these ETF buyers sell? Will they sell? Will they sell? BlackRock hasn't sold a single Bitcoin in this time period, right? Not a single Bitcoin in this entire period. So these buyers are different. They're trained to hold assets for the entirety of their life and beyond. They're not, traders. They're not speculators. These people are animals. These people want to hoard Bitcoin. They don't want to buy it. They don't want to own it. They want to hoard Bitcoin. And that's what, Bitcoiners have to get their head around, because if you're a moron that's trying to trade your Bitcoin right now and you get called out on a margin position, it's not going out in the market to another moron like you. It's going out to the ETFs. It's going out to the big buyers. It's going out to the people that will never, ever sell.
Yeah. All models will be broken. Why you have been very consistent, British, with telling people to get to one Bitcoin as soon as possible. Why do you think it is so important that people get to one Bitcoin? A quick message about today's sponsor, the Bitcoin Way. If you still have your Bitcoin on an exchange or you're using a hardware wallet that's not air-gapped, it's not open source, reach out to the Bitcoin Way. First 30 minutes, it's free. The team has over 25 years cybersecurity experience. They can help you take your Bitcoin into self-custody. Safety Moose, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, endorses this team. They'll never touch your keys or your coins, but they'll empower you to become self-sovereign. They can teach you how to run a node, can assist with multi-sig, cybersecurity, inheritance planning, running VPNs, and so much more. And the team, they can even help you obtain a second passport. Bitcoin, it's generational wealth. Learn the skills today. I've put a link at the top of the description. And again, the first 30 minutes is free.
Look, man, this is the hardest, safest asset that humanity has ever created. You will never, ever get another chance to buy this asset ever again. Your grandchildren, outside of the miraculous, right, where they create a $10 billion company, you're never going to get a chance to buy the amount of Bitcoin that you can buy now. Maybe it's one Bitcoin, maybe it's 2 Bitcoin, maybe it's 10 Bitcoin, maybe it's 50 Bitcoin. I don't know. But you're never going to get a chance to buy this again, because unlike real estate, where if London real estate market was saturated, you can just go to the, Kansas City real estate market or whatever the hell. You can't do that with Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. It is the same asset everywhere in the world. It's the same asset in New York, the same asset in London, the same in Singapore, the same in Dubai, the same in Frankfurt. It is the same everywhere in the world. And you have 9 billion people chasing one asset that has absolute finality of scarcity. And now you got these wirehouses and these advisors coming on board that are sales commission driven, incentivized to sell Bitcoin into portfolios. And just to put it into perspective, right? If someone, say they sell $1 million worth of Bitcoin this year to their clients, right? And they put it in the ETF. And let's say they earn $10,000 commission on that, for example, right? In 4 years, that Bitcoin is going to be worth $4 million. Now their commission for the next 4 years is $40,000. They've never seen a growth like that in their commission structure ever. It's going to get to a point where Bitcoin is the only asset that they'll want to sell, because it is the only compound growth fee asset that they've got, right? So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's a once in a species opportunity, as I used to say in 2021 on Clubhouse. And you got to take advantage of it. If you're not taking advantage of it, you will regret it.
The whole world's changed. Do you think like fix the money, fix the world with Wall Street, with everything like that, whether Elizabeth Warren keeps up her rhetoric, Kamala Harris gets in, is Bitcoin still that opportunity to fix the world, or it's just going to allow the people that adopt Bitcoin to have a better life and the fiat system's still going to crash and burn and take a whole lot of people down?
I think it's still going to do that, right? But the good thing about it is there's now a life raft, right? Bitcoin is that life raft. There is at least a life raft, which we never had before, right? What was the previous life raft? Gold, that you can basically dictate how much supply is going to come out the ground by determining how much money you put towards gold mining and investing in gold mining. You know, NASDAQ unicorns, like, okay, cool. So let's just create some tax incentives around investing in private equity and drive up the chances of a unicorn coming out of it. Like, all of the assets that we've had, all of the life rafts that you had have been controllable on the supply side. Bitcoin is the first asset humanity has ever seen that is scalable and not controllable on the supply side. And that's what makes it truly magical.
Yeah. In the meantime, what are those 3 rules of Bitcoin?
Listen, Sean, everyone knows that there are ultimately, despite all of the conversation, only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.